about it. It took a while. They sent their rep. Their rep came and said, oh, the meter is bad. The meter needs to be changed. There's nothing that can be done about it. We're going to place you on estimated billing. We're going to aggregate your last 3-month consumption and arrive at something that we believe will be good for you to pay. So they did the math and arrived at a figure. Can I remember exactly what that figure was now? Somewhere under 300,000. Yeah. Anyways, we kept at it. A month went by, 2 went by, 3 went by, no meter. And I kept calling, I kept following up. Somebody said to me, you know what, just go and buy meter. These guys will not keep their promise of what they had said to you. So at the point of trying to get a new meter, I get a call from my distribution company. Oh, your meter is been allocated to you. We are now trying to schedule the installation. Ladies and gentlemen, the installation took another 2 to 3 months. Eventually, when the installer came, I said, but what took you so long? He said, my brother, as I live here now, I have 2 other calls to make to install and commission meters. There's so much for me to do, and there's just so few of us. Being a Christian, it reminds me of what the Bible says. It said, the harvest is plenteous, but is ripe, but the laborers are few. So, in her wisdom, the federal government, continuing her pursuit to give Nigerians, or should I say, begin the eradication of energy poverty and increase energy accessibility through the Office of the Presidential Metering Initiative, has brought us here today to kickstart something that would mean that when a meter is scheduled, whether I bought it myself or my disco gives it to me as part of the service they are rendering to me, it will not take another 1, 2, 3 months for an allocated meter to then be installed to me. So I'm starting on this note to make us understand the importance of what we're doing here today. Because one of the bane of the development in the power sector is the fact that investors run away from throwing in the kind of investment that we would need to connect more of our people to electricity, because some of them feel like, if I begin this journey, how sure am I that my money will get to me? But if every single customer from rural to urban Nigeria is metered, the disco's life becomes better, the customer's life becomes easier, many more jobs are created, and ultimately electricity access will increase for all of us. So it's a commendable initiative, and I think the federal government deserves a round of applause. So it's a beautiful thing. It is not just about merrymaking or grammar speaking. It's about finding solutions to problems and not talking about the problems again and again. And that is what you get when, as a government, you put eggheads in position, as they say, square pegs in square holes. When you put the right people in positions of authority, in positions to determine the growth of a nation, this is the kind of results that you begin to see. When you look at the office of the SA on oil and gas or energy, for instance, or you come down to the Presidential Metering Initiative, you find technocrats, people who not only distinguish themselves in their former field of endeavor, but are patriotic enough to not let personal interests becloud their judgment in helping solve Nigeria's perennial problems. Okay, so please, if you are here for this event, please make your way into the room. And PMI team, if you can also get our bosses into the room, if we're ready to start. If we're not, let me know. But we're ready to start. We're streaming live. Okay, cool. Got you, boss. We're streaming live, I'm told, to the villa. So we that underscores the importance that, number one, and all those who are concerned, by the way, when we say number one, we're talking about His Excellency, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. That underscores the importance, number one, places on what we're doing here today. And then again, underscores his government's commitment in ensuring that in the nearest future, energy access, because somebody has argued that what we have is not energy poverty. It's a case of energy accessibility. How accessible is available energy to those that need the energy? A typical example is the case study by a former company secretary of our national oil company who decided to make a foray into the power sector. And she went to a community in her home state of Edo and created accessibility to a group of communities that have not had electricity by way of a pole or cable in the over 300 years of their existence in that community in Edo State. So she went to them with an off-grid solution using renewable energy, in this case solar, right? And as soon as she generated as much as she had invested, the community you would think has some financially challenged, I don't want to use the word poor if you get what I mean, financially challenged citizens were able to pay for what was given to them. Meaning that once there is that energy access to a community, people in those communities will be willing to pay for power. It's been proven again and again and again. You know, recently I visited a relative who has installed solar panels to power his entire house. And when I went there, I could see the electricity, but I was not here because where he lives, it's a place that rarely has power supplied to them for many reasons. I could see the power, the lights, and the bulbs, but I wasn't hearing the sound or noise of generators. It's a peaceful thing, very peaceful thing, you know. So yes, when people can eliminate generator for those that can afford it, the noise of it. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, those of you who are standing on the aisle in front of me, I'm speaking to everybody in the room now. Please, this aisle in front of me, whether I'm the one speaking or any of my orgas are speaking today, please do not stand in front of this aisle. Whether you have your smartphone or you have your camera, do not stand in front of this aisle. If you stand anywhere in front of this aisle, to my right or to my left, you'll be blocking these fantastic gentlemen who are here recording this event, some as a primary feed source, some as media houses, and some for different reasons. So please, no one should stand. If you have any reason to walk on this aisle, kindly just be quick about it. Just head on in or out and take your seat. We'll greatly appreciate that. I've been told that we're starting in a few minutes from now, but I just got up here to welcome you and to say congratulations to those of you seated on my left, and I think some of you are in front of me to my right as well. Congratulations to, I see some of you, you're part of it as well at the back, correct? So congratulations to all of you. Well done for volunteering yourselves. Sometimes people are crying, oh, there's no job, there's no this. DJ music, please.
make my head in this way. I feel like jumping it away. Cannot take it no more. Oh God, you see I'm looking for someone to satisfy me, looking for someone to compliment me, looking for someone to be my true love. And I'm searching for the kind of
Before we go pick up 10,000 from Dez, go check about like 20 G's from Keynote. Tell that motherfucker to get this nigga next door up out of here. That nigga be snoring all night. I can't sleep. And all that big butt nurse with the long hair come suck my dick. The doctor said I need about 3 weeks of recovery. But the nurses is loving me, saying the best part of the day is my half. Feeding me breakfast and giving me a sponge bath. Niggas say I died dead in the streets. Nigga, I'm getting high, getting head on the beach. Chillin', sitting on about $500,000. With all my niggas, all my guns, all my women. Next 2 years, I should see about $1 billion. All for the love of drug dealing. Got no love for the other side, fuck them tricks. Any repercussions, Junior Mafia spit clip all the time. Big Papa kick the raw rhymes, raw flows, and that's how it goes.
This for my niggas slinging things, hammering kings, truck necklace, igloo, ringing things. For the bitches who see them rims spinning grin, that shit with the be trimmed and wings. Heavy and larger, silver spurs to rag. On the road to the riches, more furs to drag. More niggas to kill than birds to bag. Hit the jeweler and splurge the tab. Hops out the truck like Trick, what up? Call me Sean if you suck, call me gone when I nut. That's the end of us. Get your friend to fuck, twist and bend her up. You know the deal, niggas talking real greasy on some ballin' shit. Funny how quick these pricks forget. Acting like I ain't the reason they traded they shit. Switch that 5, cop that 6. It's all good, you know who the crone is. Fuck the Joneses, niggas trying to keep up with the Cones.
What's his name? He is. Come on. What's his name?
Keep a glass filled to the rim of the notorious.
Good morning again, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the 6th Association of Nigerian Development Finance Institutions Annual General Assembly. Every year, DFIs in Nigeria gather to discuss ways to expand access to funding for beneficiaries, policy advocacy, exchange ideas, and best practices for operational efficiency, also connecting DFIs with government bodies and international partners to co-finance priority sectors. We would like to recognize some very distinguished guests amongst us, starting with the Honorable, His Excellency, the Honorable Minister of Finance and the Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Professor Taiwo Oyedele. A round of applause for him, please. Also recognizing the Senior Vice President and Country Director of the African Development Bank, Dr. Abdul Kamara. A round of applause for him, please. The Founder, Managing Partner, Aruwa Capital Management, Mrs. Adesua Okumbo Rhodes. A round of applause for her, please. We have the Head of Strategy and Performance Management at the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria, Mr. Dapo Fake. A round of applause for him, please. We have the Commercial Counselor for the Turkish Embassy in Abuja, Edal Faith Tuzuglu. A round of applause, please. We have the Acting MD and CEO of the Infrastructure Bank, Mr. Nasiru Isiaku. A round of applause for him, please. We have other distinguished guests I'm still going to recognize, but I also like to recognize very quickly the MD CEO of the Bank of Industry in person, Mr. Dr. Olashupo Olusi. We call him Mr. Impact. Okay, just so that we can move swiftly with the program, we would like to call on the ANFI Technical Committee Coordinator, Dr. Issa Omagu. He is also the Chief Strategy and Development Officer at the Bank of Industry. A round of applause for him as he takes off.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. All protocols duly observed. I'd like to welcome everyone to this meeting, this annual conference. It's the 6th in the series of conferences that we've had. ANDFI is comprised of national DFIs and also of state DFIs and regional DFIs. And coming together to disintermediate financing where government cannot fully take care of it, and then private sector cannot fully take care of it. It's a way that we try to make sure that we help Nigeria's economic transformation. So welcome to this year's conference, and we look forward to having very useful deliberations as we proceed. Thank you very much, and God bless.
Thank you very much, Dr. Omagu. We would like to call on the MD, CEO of the Bank of Industry, Mr. Impact himself, as he comes to give us the chairman's speech. A round of applause for our MD, Dr. Olashupo Olusi.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. The Honorable Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Professor Taiwo Oyedele, my brother, ANFI Executive Committee members here present, Managing Directors and CEOs of our fellow development finance institutions, heads of government agencies here present or represented, other dignitaries and guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is an honor to welcome you to the 6th Annual Conference and General Assembly of the Association of Nigerian Development Finance Institutions, otherwise known as ANFI. Your presence reflects our shared commitment to advancing development finance as a catalyst for Nigeria's economic transformation. Over the past 6 years, ANFI has evolved into an important platform for collaboration amongst Nigeria's development finance institutions at the federal and state levels. Together, we have strengthened institutional partnerships, built capacity, shared knowledge and experience, and advanced practical solutions to some of Nigeria's most pressing development finance challenges. Today, that shared purpose has taken on renewed importance. Of public policy and private enterprise. We mobilize capital, expand access to finance, support businesses, and provide the long-term investment needed to drive sustainable economic development. Despite tighter financing conditions and an increasing uncertainty in the global environment, we have remained focused on supporting Nigeria's development priorities and advancing especially the renewed hope agenda of His Excellency Mr. President. Against this backdrop, this year's conference comes at an important moment for the development finance platform for Nigeria. Our theme, unlocking development capital for development financing, unlocking domestic capital for development financing, speaks directly to one of the most important challenges facing Nigeria today. As access to long-term global development capital becomes increasingly constrained, mobilizing domestic resources is no longer simply desirable, it is essential. Domestic capital must play a greater role in financing infrastructure, industrialization, MSME growth, agriculture, housing, and other critical sectors of our long-term development plan.
Each other in the conference room, and this one got up, took the bag, this one got up, took his bag, their conference bags, and innocently, the guy came back to Nigeria with his conference bag. And most times when we travel to these conferences, you don't open those conference bags immediately. You just leave them there. 2 weeks after, as Zebudaya would say, for those who are not Gen Zs will understand, Gen Zs might not, as Zebudaya would say, with immediate alacrity, the passport was dispatched via you.
When we gather like this as development finance institutions, there's a lot of conversations we have, how to sustain businesses, how to raise funds, how to partner with institutions and the government and international partners to ensure that funding for the right sectors is actually met and the funding is put to good use. And so it's very important that we have a good, robust conversation. We're going to have 2 panel sessions. It's good for us to engage in the panel discussions, ask questions. Let's see how we can move the Nigerian economy forward. So a round of applause for the MD CEO of the Bank of Industry. Also to recognize some distinguished guests amongst us, we have the Executive Director of Business Development at Nexim Bank, Honorable Stella Okotete. A round of applause for her, please. The Director General and the CEO of Smidan, Mr. Charles Odi. A round of applause for him, please. We have the MD CEO of Credit Corp, Mr. Uzoma Owagba. A round of applause for him, please. Also, we have the ANFI committee members who have done a lot of hard work in ensuring that this program is successful. Sorry, I'm looking for all the committee members. My sincere apologies. I know it's somewhere. Okay, I'll come back to recognizing the committee members. A couple of them are here. But we want to go to a very, very important segment in this program, and that is the keynote address. I'd like you to please welcome His Excellency, the Honorable Minister of Finance and the Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Professor Taiwo Oyedele, as he comes to give us the keynote address. Keep clapping until he comes here. Welcome, sir.
Please be seated.
Professor Taiwo Oyedele is a distinguished public policy expert, economist, and reform advocate. He is currently Nigeria's Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, in addition to serving as the Chairman of the Presidential Fiscal Policy and Tax Reforms Committee. Professor Taiwo Oyedele has extensive leadership experience, including over a decade as fiscal policy and Africa tax leader at PwC. A professor of practice at Babcock University, an adjunct faculty at the University of Lagos. Professor Taiwo Oyedele has contributed to the African Union's Agenda 2063 and the World Bank's Doing Business reports. He is the founder of Impact Africa Foundation and an alumnus of the Harvard Kennedy School of Executive Education and London School of Economics and Political Science. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome His Excellency, Professor Taiwo Oyedele.
Thank you very much for the kind introduction. It's very exciting to be in a room full of men and women who make development possible. I think you should appreciate yourself. You are the reason millions of people have their jobs. They're able to put food on the table. It may not be multi-million-dollar jobs, but they're jobs that keep families together. They enable them to send their kids to school, so there's hope for tomorrow. Well done for what you do. My dear brother, Dr. Olashupo Olusi, who is the chair of ANFI and MD of Bank of Industry. The passion of this man for what he does is unbelievable. So in about 3 months I've been the finance minister. I've lost count of how many times he came to me. So you need to find the money. I said, yeah, we're trying to pay salaries first. Yeah, I understand, but this one is just as important. Please keep it up. And God bless you. Distinguished leaders of our development finance institutions, head of various government agencies and departments, representatives of the African Development Bank, Afrexim Bank, and the Association of African Development Finance Institutions, development partners, captains of industries, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I congratulate ANFI for convening this pivotal annual General Assembly and for selecting a team that addresses one of the defining economic questions of our generation, that is unlocking domestic capital for development financing. Let me give the global context. The global financing landscape has undergone fundamental transformation. Capital has become more selective. Development assistance less profound. International borrowing significantly costlier, particularly for emerging economies like Nigeria. Private investors considerably more discerning. The era when nations could rely primarily on external capital for development is giving way to a new imperative. The countries that will thrive in the coming decades will be those that master the mobilization of domestic resources. This is not because foreign capital has lost importance. It is because domestic capital is in fact needed to attract foreign capital. Investors rarely commit where citizens lack confidence. When domestic investors lead, foreign investors follow. When pension funds invest, global funds take notice. When local institutions demonstrate trust, international institutions gain confidence. Domestic capital is therefore not an alternative to foreign investment. It is the foundation upon which sustainable foreign investment is built. Nigeria has significant untapped capital. Many assume wrongly that Nigeria faces the shortage of capital, whereas the reality is more nuanced. What we need is more effective mobilization of our savings. Consider what exists within our economy today: growing pension assets, expanding insurance reserves, substantial banking sector liquidity, deepening capital markets, billions of annual domestic savings and investments, valuable sovereign financial capacity, accumulated wealth in private family businesses, billions of dollars in annual diaspora remittances. The question is not whether capital exists. The question is, how do we convert idle savings into productive investment? That is the precise mission of development finance. Markets are powerful, but markets are imperfect. Commercial finance gravitates naturally toward quick returns and lower risk. Yet, national development requires patient capital for the long term, for infrastructure, agriculture, manufacturing, technology, affordable housing, climate transition, and innovation. Development finance institutions exist precisely to fill these gaps. They're not competitors to commercial banks. They're market builders. They create opportunities where pure commercial logic might not venture. They crowd in private investment. But you need confidence before capital can follow. So confidence has to lead. Many nations expend huge resources looking for capital they want to attract. But very few countries invest sufficiently to become attractive to capital. So instead of chasing capital, capital follows you. Because capital is neither emotional nor patriotic. It responds to clear incentives, certainty, credible institutions, and policy consistency. This understanding guided His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's difficult but necessary reforms. Not reform for its own sake, but to restore confidence in macroeconomic management, public finances, exchange rate stability, fiscal frameworks, and for Nigeria itself. We're beginning to see encouraging results. Decent economic growth rates, despite global headwinds, gradually moderating inflation, strengthened external reserves, improved fiscal position, enhanced revenue performance, recognition from international rating agencies, and a shift in investor discourse from uncertainty to opportunity about Nigeria. The work remains incomplete, but the direction is unmistakable. Let me talk to you briefly about 5 essential transformations necessary for unlocking capital. To unlock domestic capital effectively, we must prioritize 5 strategic areas. First, unlock household wealth. Millions of Nigerians save, but very few invest. Savings sitting under mattresses, in informal schemes, or dormant accounts cannot transform an economy. We must make investing simpler, safer, and more rewarding. Every Nigerian should be able to own a stake in the Nigeria's future we are trying to build. Second, we need to deepen institutional capital.
Enough in their hands. Honorable Minister, permit me to emphasize that the curriculum developed for this training program has been carefully designed to meet internationally accepted technical and occupational standards. It combines classroom instruction with intensive practical sessions to ensure that participants acquire hands-on competencies required by the modern electricity industry. I am pleased to state that curriculum has received the approval of NEC, the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, thereby assuring all stakeholders that the knowledge, practical skills, and competencies acquired during this program meet national regulatory requirements and international best practices. Participants should therefore consider themselves privileged to be part of a program that has been carefully structured to produce industry-ready professionals capable of making immediate contribution to the Nigerian electricity supply industry. I wish to sincerely commend the Presidential Metering Initiative for this visionary collaboration with NAPTIN. This partnership demonstrates what can be achieved when institutions work together with a common purpose. By leveraging NAPTIN's training infrastructure, experienced faculty, practical laboratories, and nationwide training centers, PMR has taken a strategic decision that will ensure quality, consistency, sustainability in manpower development for the electricity sector. I equally wish to appreciate the unwavering support and leadership of the Honorable Minister of Power for his commitment to human capital development and the transformation of Nigeria's electricity sector, his passion for skills training initiative. This program is practical evidence that the renewed hope agenda is translating policy into measurable opportunities for Nigerian youth and tangible improvements for electricity consumers across the country. To our trainees,